Hi there, Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. And in this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Star Wars The Vintage Collection Streets of Mos Eisley Playset. Now, many of you guys in the US have already got this in hand. They are starting to ship from Entertainment Earth and Amazon. And if you haven't ordered one already and you want 10% off, then use my link in the description below at Entertainment Earth and use the code Bossk at the checkout and you will receive 10% off of your order, and that goes for anything that's in stock at Entertainment Earth. I want to say a huge thank you to my buddy Paul. He helped me out in acquiring this set, so thank you very much, Paul. It arrived this morning in great shape, so thank you so much. With all that being said, if you do happen to enjoy the video, hit the like button down below, subscribe if you're new, and as always, let's take a look at the packaging. All right there, so on the front of the box, we have that amazing double racetrack design for the Star Wars logo going all the way around the edge of the box. And then basically right in the center, you can see the playset itself set up in one of its configurations. And there you can also see the Jawa that is included on a card back. And this is the only way that you're going to be able to get that particular card back in this set. And the Jawa is ever so slightly different to other versions of Jawas that we've had in the past. And I will be doing a comparison in this video of some of the Jawas that we have had. You can also see that they've got it in a pretty cool sort of Tatooine diorama with some sand going on and the blue sky in the background, some mountains in the background there as well. And we have the Kenner logo in the bottom left-hand corner. Top of the box has 3 more images. The one in the center in particular is using 2 sets to make a different configuration of the Streets of Mos Eisley. So obviously they are modular, so you can put them together, and then you can see some of the accessories that you get with the Jawa there, and then the Jawa in the doorway. One end of the box has another pretty cool image there of the Jawa talking to that droid doorman. Other end of the box once again uses 2 Mos Eisley playsets, just showing you how you can make a little street scene. The bottom of the box shows you exactly what you get within the set, all laid out quite nicely. And as is often the case, on the back of the box, it's exactly the same as the front, except for the fact that we have the Vintage Collection logo. Okay, so I've opened up the box and this is how it is packaged with inside the box in all of these inserts here. And you can see various items are in little baggies, and I can just see there the carded Jawa. So we'll just see the condition of that. I'm going to be opening it up anyway, but for all you carded collectors out there, you're going to want to know how nicely that's packed in and whether it's in decent condition. Okay then, so I've got these Streets of Mos Eisley set up in the configuration that it shows you on the front of the box. And if you're wondering how many pieces there are and how it fits together, then we have the archway. That's one piece that connects to that wall piece there. And then that wall piece connects to the main doorway piece. And then the only other piece that we have is the steps there. So this piece sort of sits over those steps, and there are more steps on the other side if you wanted to do that. But it's a bit weird because I'll show you the rear of the set in a minute. It's pretty open and bare, so you wouldn't really want to do that. However, I do not have 2 of these sets, and it does show you on the instructions what you can do with more than one set. So this is just showing you how some of the pieces fit together. We've got the little doorman droid here, which I will check out in a second. That's why I haven't attached that, because I just want to check it out a little bit closer and show you guys. We have the little sort of barrels and compartments, and then that's showing you the sliding door. But then on the back here, you'll see 2 sets joined together. And then also, this was quite interesting. So you've got the archways and how those can be set up. So you can have them next to each other at a right angle, but then you can also have them on the back of each other as well. Now, as I said, I don't have 2 of these sets. Now, I don't usually watch other people's reviews before I get things myself, so not to influence what I have to say about them, but I did on this occasion watch a video by a channel called Tanith, purely because I wanted to see if they had 2 of these sets and what they did with them. So if you want to check out after this video, you know, what they do with that, then you're more than welcome to do that. But I just want to show you the set and what it can do. And, you know, as I said, I've just got it in this configuration for the moment. But first of all, I just want to take a look at some of the accessories that come with the set. But before that, let's just take a look at the carded Jawa. So the Jawa is in immaculate condition. It's maybe ever so slightly warped, but nothing a star case won't sort out. Nice thick cardstock, and it's a great image of the Jawa there slumped up against one of the buildings. And there he is in the bubble with his accessories. Those accessories look very similar to accessories that we've got with our previous Jawas. And again, once I open this one up later in the video, I will do a comparison of this Jawa against other ones that we've had in 3.75. But this one, I think, is going to be possibly my favorite, because I think it's the most screen accurate in my opinion in terms of the soft goods. And I always like soft goods on Jawas because that always reminds me of the Jawa that we got in the original Kenner line. And, you know, apart from the vinyl cape Jawa, which is pretty rare, obviously most of them came with that cloth cape. So we'll open them up a little bit later on, but in terms of the card back, pretty cool. And you're wondering about the number, he's VC342 in the line. Very nice one to keep carded, that one, if you didn't want to open him up. Okay, so first up, we're looking at this droid. I call it the Dorman droid. It may have an official name. Let me know in the comments section below if it does. But we have seen these a couple of times. We've seen it in Return of the Jedi at Jabba's Palace, and we've also seen it in The Mandalorian in Navarro as well. I think the Mando ends up snapping it off, doesn't he? But that's a pretty cool inclusion to have, and that's just going to attach there right near the door, so you can either have it on there or off. It's pretty cool that it does attach, but you can see there he's got that sort of eye going on. And yeah, apart from that, it's just a grey piece of plastic, but still pretty cool to include that, I think. We also have this like lamppost type piece, which is designed to sit up against the wall. So I've just had that over here, like so. And then we've got these other little crates and barrels. So first off, we've got a brown one here, and they do open up. They do have a little lid. So these are very similar to what I was showing in my video at the weekend. This is a 3D printed one. Your typical sort of Star Wars crates or boxes. So that's the brown one. And then we have this sort of sandy colored yellow one, I guess. And once again, it does open so you can keep things in there. And then we have this little canister here, which looks a bit like something that would contain milk in the real world. But again, you know, that can just sit there like so. And then we have the best accessory of the whole set, in my opinion, and it's this one here, which looks absolutely fantastic. It's actually painted. You've got some weathering on there. So although they haven't painted anything else on this set, which we'll get into in a second, they have painted this up, which is pretty cool. And once again, it does open up so you can keep things inside, but some of the detail on that looks absolutely fantastic. Really do like that. And as I said, you know, they've obviously gone over it with like a dry brush or something to bring out some of the detail on there. So this does really look at home in the streets of Mos Eisley. Everything else looks a little bit on the clean side, does it not? You can see there, I mean, it is a pretty dusty, sandy planet, Tatooine, and especially Mos Eisley, the spaceport. You would have thought that the buildings would have some kind of, you know, weathering on them basically, but they haven't done so. But I'm sure if you wanted to add it yourself, you can. But I will now do some close-up shots of the pieces of the actual playset, so you can at least see some of the sculpted detail that they've put in on those pieces. So for example, the doorway, you can see lots of cracks and pieces missing out of the brickwork there, which is pretty cool. You can see some nice sculpted work going on there. We do have some paint applications of silver, green and blue buttons for the door activation. And then if we turn this around, this is what I was talking about, it being a little bit bare. Here's the piece for the steps. So that just sits on like so. And there you can see the door activation. So that's just going to open up like that. So if you wanted to do the scene where C-3PO and R2-D2 are hiding behind that orange door, you could do that if you wanted to. And this little thing here actually controls the Dorman droid. So we will attach that now onto there, just so we can see that operating. So then you can move that around from the rear of the set. And obviously we can just close the door up and it does click into place like so. So that's some of the details on the door piece. Very similar going on with the wall piece there, except for the fact that this one has a silver vent going on there. And there's the back of it again. You know, not too much going on with the back of the playset. So obviously it's designed to sort of go up against a wall on your shelf, something like that. And of course, you know, all of this is going to interact with the cantina once we get that in hand as well. But, you know, it is a bit of a shame that they haven't sort of weathered this up a little bit, because there is so much detail going in on the sculpt with all of the damage to the wall and the cracks going on, pieces missing, things like that. You know, to bring out a little bit of the detail, they could have used like a sort of dark yellow wash on it, like a sandy wash maybe, just to bring out some of those details. But of course, you know, doing so would have pushed the price up. And then we've got the archway piece, once again very similar with all of the damage to the brickwork, which is pretty cool. And then there you go, there's the back of it again, so not too much going on with the back. All right then, so here is the Jawa out of the packaging, and in case you're wondering if it's a new sculpt or anything underneath those soft goods, then I'm going to disappoint you. No, it's not. This is exactly the same Jawa that we've had in the past, including the off-world Jawa. So in fact, this is basically just a brown version of the off-world Jawa, because the off-world Jawa also had soft goods. So if we were to take those soft goods off, you would see that the figure does not have any articulation on the ankles or the knees. He has swivel hips. He does have hinges at the elbows and ball jointed shoulders, and that is about it basically. But it is a nice looking Jawa. I do like the soft goods on this one. I think they've done it really well. It fits absolutely perfect. And in a second, I will line up some of the other Jawas that we have. But first of all, just to give us a closer up look at this one. Here he is, the Jawa there, and as you can see, it does have the plastic hood with the soft goods robe, and that's exactly what they did with the off-world Jawa. You can see he's got two pretty cool bandoliers going around his body there. He does also have a working holster with a tiny little silver blaster, which sits in there quite nicely. He comes with his other blaster there, and he also comes with this one as well, which is pretty similar to that one actually, but it is actually different. This one also has some paint applications on the stock of that little blaster there, which is pretty cool. But let's just have a look at the Jawa underneath the robes, just so I can show you. So there you go, there's those swivel hips. Some nice sculpting work going on the strappings on the feet, but as I said, there's no articulation whatsoever apart from on those swivel hips there. So not too much else going on. And as I said, that is exactly how the off-world Jawa is. And also, if we take the original vintage collection Jawa, which first came out in the 3.75 inch black series, it's pretty much the same figure underneath there as well. Obviously, this one is, you know, solid hard goods, plastic goods, rather than soft goods. So you can't really move the legs about too much with this figure anyway. It's almost like a pepper pot. But yeah, so this is why I prefer this new Jawa compared to that one. But yeah, now we'll take a look at all of the Jawas that I have in my collection. All right then, so here are all of the Jawas in my collection. That's a lie, actually. It's not all of them. I do have some of the old Power of the Force ones, but I don't think they're good enough to display anymore. So I think the earliest one in here is from the 30th anniversary collection. And just going through them, so here we have the newest version that came with the Mos Eisley Playset. This is Tika from the Obi-Wan series. These two are the 3.75 inch black series versions. They came in a 2-pack. He was repacked in the vintage collection on a single card from the original 96. These two here are from the Legacy collection, I believe. They both came with their own little droids. This one is the more expensive version, I do believe. He has a soft goods skirt. And this one here, I think, is the 30th anniversary collection. I may have these two mixed round the wrong way, but yeah, essentially those are all the Jawas that I have. So a nice little collection of Jawas there, all in different colours as well. So yeah, it makes for a decent scene. All right then, so here is a pretty simple example of what you can do with the Streets of Mos Eisley playset. Of course, if you had 2 or 3 of these sets, then you could make a much bigger diorama and fit more figures within it. So I've just got a pretty simple thing there. I've got C-3PO and R2-D2 in that doorway there being interrogated by the sand troopers. We've got Garandan there grassing everybody up. We also have some Jawas there, of course. And we have Ben and Luke, and they've just basically sold the land speeder to Mos Eisley there in the background. So that's just a pretty simple example. But of course, if I was to spend a bit more time on how I want this set up and what scenes that I want to display, and of course, we've got the fact that the cantina is going to be arriving as well. So how do we want that set up? You know, we need a dewback as well for outside of the cantina in the streets of Tatooine. Some droids rolling around, that sort of thing. So As I said, that's just a pretty simple example of what you can do with it. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to know your plans for this, and if you've already got it, what are you doing with it? You know, in terms of how you're setting it up, what scenes are you creating? Let me know in the comments section below. But I hope you've enjoyed the review and been able to check out some of the details. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to my Patreon supporters and channel members as always. Thank you once again to my buddy Paul for helping me out acquiring this set. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we shall see you on the next one.